April 24, 1980, New York, USA. Zheng Shan signed the last appointment letter, stretched out involuntarily, and finally settled the matter. "Boss, have you really decided?" Even though Rachel on the side knew the result long ago, she still couldn't help but speak again. Zheng Shan looked at the tall buildings and mountains outside the window and said with a smile, "Of course, you have asked this question many times." Speaking of which, Zheng Shan looked at the few people beside him, especially when he saw the solemn expressions on their faces, he couldn't help laughing. "Why do you all have this expression? It's not like I'm not coming back. Although it is said that I will live in Huaxia in the future, it is not that I will not come to the United States. Moreover, I will solve the problem in time. I am very relieved to have everyone in the group." The new CEO of Zishui Group, Lucas, said at this time, "Boss, but without you, we are always at a loss in our hearts. And the United States is the place where you should stay the most. Only here can you exert your greatest value. Even if Zheng Shan does not leave, he will not be able to become the CEO of the group," but Lucas still has no hesitation. Because he knew very well what kind of abilities this young and somewhat excessive man in front of him had. Lucas is someone who knows his boss. Zheng Shan, Chinese. 7 years ago, he was brought to the United States by his second grandfather from China and became his only legal heir. 2 years ago, Zheng Aihua, the second grandfather, passed away. After Zheng Shan finished the funeral, he immediately sold all the assets under Zheng Aihua's name, and only kept some shares in the company. Directly cash out $120 million. At that time, many people thought that this was a prodigal, and it was estimated that the money would be lost in a few years at most. But beyond everyone's expectations, Zheng Shan cashed out so much money without spending too much money. Instead, he opened a large supermarket chain called Zishui. With more than 100 million in cash, plus the personal connections he inherited from his second grandfather, and because he has some shares in Walmart, Zheng Shan can easily make friends with people from all walks of life in the retail industry by using these shares. Taking advantage of these relationships, he quickly showed his strength in the supermarket industry. Coupled with the excellent management measures of Zishui Supermarket, as well as various ingenious and advanced marketing schemes, plus excellent service quality, Let's Dream Supermarkets soon took over a portion of the market in the United States. In addition, Zishui is not only a supermarket, but also a convenience store and a so-called aristocratic supermarket. Even if many people are not optimistic about this aristocratic supermarket, and even now it has not achieved a balance of payments, it has also accumulated a lot of contacts and reputation for Zishui. In just 2 years, Zishui Group has been valued at over $1 billion by the outside world, and this is because it has not been listed. In addition, Zheng Shan has made achievements not only in supermarkets. In terms of finance, he also made a lot of money for him. It can be said that the rapid development of Zishui Supermarket is also due to Zheng Shan's achievements in the financial market. It is precisely because of sufficient funds that Zishui Supermarket can develop so quickly. Zheng Shan also made good friends with people like Soros. In the past 2 years, Zheng Shan has made a lot of money on Soros' side. Listening to the dissuasion of his subordinates, Zheng Shan just smiled and did not speak. He has already said what he should say, and it is meaningless to say more. In fact, Zheng Shan also thought about staying in the United States. After all, there are really many opportunities here, especially for him, who has passed through from 2021. But compared to Huaxia, who has lived for nearly 30 years, Zheng Shan is really not used to life here at all. And as he said, he just lives in China, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't care about the business here. Also, Zheng Shan used to be just an ordinary person. The reason why he has achieved the current results is because he had a huge startup capital from the beginning, and secondly, his personal connections were also established. The last is foresight. But let him really manage a large group, which he really can't do. Although Zheng Shan has been studying for the past 2 years and has also served as the CEO of the group, a lot of the actual work is left to the people below. He just acts as a person who controls the overall situation. The most important point is that Zheng Shan doesn't have much ideals, he must become a rich man. In his previous life, his biggest dream was to become a person who would eat and die, but with high housing prices, expensive bride gifts, and huge living expenses make it impossible for him to become such a person. In fact, everything he has done in the past 2 years is just to be able to have such a life. As for the management of the group, he is not worried about this at all. After all, he can come over at any time, and the audit and development of the group's finances also need to be truly decided by him. Okay, you all go back to work. Don't bother me. When I come over next time, if any of you have problems, don't blame me for being ruthless. Zheng Shan began to wave his hands to chase people away. In the end, only Rachel and Du Yujao were left. Both of them are his secretaries. Rachel was his secretary from the beginning, and Du Yujao was recruited a year ago. Have you made up your mind, who will go to Xiangjiang? Zheng Shan asked. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Zishui Group will also open a branch in Xiangjiang, and a supermarket has already opened. Of course, Xiangjiang's main responsibility is to be in charge of contacting him. So the person to choose is either Rachel or Du Yujao. The two looked at each other, and then Du Yujao said, "Boss, I'm going to go there. After all, my hometown is in Xiangjiang, and I'm familiar with it." This was not beyond Zheng Shan's expectations. He just nodded, then Rachel will be in charge of the head office from now on. After arranging things, Zheng Shan also left from the group headquarters here, and did not go anywhere else, but came directly to his home. Looking at the furniture in the house, Zheng Shan really had a feeling of reluctance, but it soon disappeared. Since he traveled here 3 years ago, he felt very uncomfortable every day. He was really not used to the life here. It would be fine if he was really a very professional person, but he is not. He prefers a life with a Chinese atmosphere, visiting relatives, visiting doors, having barbecues with friends, drinking a little wine, a life of bragging rights. As for returning to Huaxia at this time, there is no problem. Zheng Shan has already taken care of everything. A year ago, Zheng Shan intentionally contacted some people in China. This year, Zheng Shan helped a lot. Like some groups that came out to communicate in China, Zheng Shan helped a lot before and after, and also helped to introduce people's contacts. And when he heard that Zheng Shan wanted to go back, he was very welcome in China, and Zheng Shan was actually of Chinese nationality so far. His Chinese nationality has not been cancelled, so he is only called returning to China, and the process is still very simple. Zheng Shan sat on the soft sofa in the villa and couldn't help but take out a cigarette. As for cigars, he was still not used to smoking and began to puff. Looking at the smoke in front of him, Zheng Shan's thoughts gradually drifted away. 3 years ago, Zheng Shan crossed over to the original owner. At that time, the original owner was actually dead. It is very simple to say that he was robbed. Then a stick was hit on the forehead, and when he was sent to the hospital, he was already dead, and then Zheng Shan crossed over to him and was rescued. At the time, doctors said it was a miracle. At the beginning, Zheng Shan was still a little dazed and uncomfortable, but the old man didn't care. After all, he just experienced life and death, and it is normal for some abnormalities. Soon, Zheng Shan accepted the reality and integrated into this identity. His second grandfather really had nothing to say to Zheng Shan and regarded him as his own grandson. Not long after Zheng Shan was admitted to the hospital, the robbers all died at home for no reason. Although Zheng Shan's second grandfather has always been very low-key, this does not mean that he is easy to bully. How can it be so easy for a Chinese to have such a large family business in the United States? Coupled with some previous reasons, the second grandpa has no tolerance for such things. Zheng Shan's second grandfather also had a son back then, and it was because of similar things that he eventually died. And his wife also fell ill because of missing, and finally died of depression. The old man never remarried. When he was old, the old man went back to his hometown and finally brought Zheng Shan over. At that time, Zheng Shan was 13 years old. After several years, he did not really integrate into the American environment. In the end, the old man could actually see it, so he said, when he died, if he was not used to the United States, he should go back. The old man also learned that Huaxia is now different from before, and there is no problem in going back. The old man has no idea of returning to the roots. His wife and son are buried in the United States. If he goes back, what will they do? When the old man was dying, when Zheng Shan asked if he wanted to bring his ashes back to the country for burial, the old man murmured. Lin Jianbing held a sign in his hand. Whenever a plane landed, he would immediately cheer up and look at the people coming out of the airport. He has been doing this kind of thing for half a month, but Lin Jianbing doesn't know when it will end and when he will be able to receive someone. The leader above just gave him a photo and a name, saying that he would return to China in the near future, and nothing else. The top opened his mouth, and the bottom broke his leg. Who made him just a small secretary of the Foreign Trade Bureau? Just when Lin Jianbing was about to put down the sign in his hand in disappointment again, he was suddenly stunned, and then rubbed his eyes vigorously. Then I took out the photo, looked at it again and again, and finally found that the person I was waiting for was coming. Mr. Zheng! Mr. Zheng! Lin Jianbing shouted vigorously. Zheng Shan was about to go out, and when he heard the voice, he looked over there subconsciously. Not only him, but many people, even those who were not named Zheng, also looked over subconsciously. Lin Jianbing's voice was really too loud. Zheng Shan found that the sign that the young man was holding had his name written on it. Who are you? Zheng Shan walked over and asked. You are Mr. Zheng Shan Zheng, aren't you? Lin Jianbing asked respectfully. This was explained above, and he must have a good attitude. Zheng Shan nodded and said, I'm Zheng Shan, who are you? He came back without notifying anyone. Lin Jianbing replied, Hello, Mr. Zheng, my name is Lin Jianbing, I am from the Foreign Trade Bureau. You can just call me Xiao Lin. Our leader asked me to come and pick you up. Zheng Shan understood immediately. In the past 2 years, he has dealt with the Foreign Trade Bureau many times, helped a lot, and introduced a lot of business. And this time he came back, but also through the help of the Foreign Trade Bureau. How did you know that I came back today? Zheng Shan asked with some doubts. Lin Jianbing hurriedly helped carry the box, but Zheng Shan did not refuse, knowing that if he was not allowed to do so, he would probably have to push for a while. Lin Jianbing said a little embarrassedly, I didn't know you were today, I just knew you would be back soon. After saying this, Zheng Shan immediately understood. Thank you for your leadership for me, and I will trouble you, comrade. Zheng Shan thanked him. Lin Jianbing said quickly, these are all things I should do. Although Zheng Shan doesn't seem to be as big as him, Lin Jianbing doesn't dare to underestimate him. And it wasn't just a leader who explained it to him like this, how could Lin Jianbing not know the importance? Mr. Zheng, our leader has already ordered a meal at the restaurant, we are waiting for you. Lin Jianbing said immediately after Zheng Shan got into the car. Not only did he come alone, but there were also people waiting outside. After he received someone, he immediately ran to a place where he could make a phone call and reported to the leader. These are all arranged, and it is enough to show that the leaders above attach great importance to this Mr. Zheng. Hearing this, Zheng Shan knew that he would not be able to go home until the afternoon, so he did not refuse. People are so enthusiastic. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com, and it is estimated that he will live here in the future, and it is the best to have a good relationship with some people. After chatting for a while, Zheng Shan looked at the scenery outside the window, at the capital of China in the 1980s. These are all things he has never seen before, with the strong characteristics of this era. Who would have thought that in just 40 years, this place, including all of China, will undergo earth-shaking changes? There were not many vehicles on the street at this time, most probably bicycles, and occasionally a few motorcycles whizzed past. The roar was mixed with the envy of many people. Owning a motorcycle in this era is already a very luxurious thing. On the contrary, not many people pay attention to the cars that Zheng Shan rides, because these are basically public cars. While driving, Lin Jianbing carefully observed the young distinguished guest. When Zheng Shan didn't speak, he tightly closed his mouth and didn't make inquiries. Soon, the car stopped at a restaurant. Zheng Shan looked at the restaurant. He was not very familiar with it. After all, he was not from the capital in his previous life. He just visited the capital once. There were already 2 people standing there to greet them at the entrance of the restaurant. After Zheng Shan got off the bus, he also walked up quickly. Lu Ting, Wang Ju. Zheng Shan greeted. Boss Zheng. Lu Yi and Wang Wei also smiled and took 2 steps forward. Boss Zheng has worked hard all the way. Lu Yi said with a smile. Zheng Shandao, it's not hard work, just thinking about going home makes it easier. Haha, yes, I'm home, welcome Boss Zheng home. Wang Weiwei said with a smile. The 3 of them chatted and laughed for a while, and then entered the box, and the food came quickly. The dinner table was staggered. Although there were only 3 people, it seemed very lively. The 3 basically talked about everything, the world economy, political culture, economic development, and even street chores. Boss Zheng is planning to live in China when he comes back this time. Wang Wei seemed to ask casually. Zheng Shan nodded, yeah, I'm ready to live permanently, but I found out when I stayed outside that home is the most reassuring place. Here, I have roots. Yeah, only having roots makes people feel at ease. I really hope there are more people like Boss Zheng. Lu Yi also answered. Then what about your company? Wang Wei asked again. This is what they care about. After all, Zishui Supermarket has created a lot of foreign exchange for them over the past year. And many projects follow the path of cooperation with Zishui Group. Zheng Shan actually knew this, and asked with a smile, our country is not what it used to be, it's just a little farther away, there is no problem with remote command. And I have always been in control of the overall situation, leaving specific things to capable people to do, there is no problem at all. Hearing Zheng Shan's words, the smiles on the faces of the 2 suddenly increased. That's good. If Zheng Shan sold the Zishui Group, or didn't care about the Zishui Group at all, then many of their things would be difficult to handle. Speaking of this, Zheng Shan also said, by the way, I bought a bank, and now its name is Zishui Bank. Now I have opened a business office in Xiangjiang. In the future, if you have any needs, you can take the account from the Zishui Bank, which is also safer. Speaking of this, Lu Yi's face suddenly showed a hint of embarrassment. Before, Lu Yi didn't listen to Zheng Shan's words, or he was fooled and cheated a lot of money. Fortunately, Zheng Shan put a lot of effort into getting things done at the time, otherwise Lu Yi wouldn't be sitting here now. Definitely. In the future, as long as we can call the shots, we will go from the stream bank. Lu Yi said quickly. This is indeed safe. However, the eyes of Lu Yi and the 2 looking at Zheng Shan also changed a bit. Banks are still very high in their eyes. Zheng Shan now owns a bank of his own, which has a huge impact on them. In fact, the bank that Zheng Shan acquired only cost $80 million, which is not as much as the 2 men imagined. And Zheng Shan's acquisition of this bank is also due to various considerations. In the future, Zishui Group will definitely have closer ties with its domestic business. After all, Huaxia is about to carry out a series of actions. And having a bank of your own makes it much more convenient to do a lot of things. With Zheng Shan's remarks, Lu Yi and Wang Wei felt more at ease, and their drinking became more enjoyable. But Zheng Shan just came back, and he couldn't really get Zheng Shan drunk, so the three of them just drank 2 bottles of white wine. Most of these 2 bottles of liquor were drunk by Lu Yi and the two of them, but Zheng Shan didn't drink a lot. It was almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. When the dinner was over, it was Lin Jianbing who sent Zheng Shan back. At a familiar intersection in his predecessor's memory, Zheng Shan asked Lin Jianbing to stop, and he did not let Lin Jianbing help him carry him and salute. When Lin Jianbing left, Zheng Shan took his suitcase and walked into the alley. He met many people on the way, and they all looked at Zheng Shan curiously. After all, Zheng Shan's outfit is a bit too fashionable at this time, and clean and tidy clothes, one can tell that they are not cheap. "Young man, who are you looking for?" asked the uncle, who was lying on a chaise longue and basking in the sun. Zheng Shan said with a smile, "Master, I'm looking for Zheng Jiangguo." "Jiangguo? He's still at work, do you have anything to do with him?" The uncle took a sip of his tea happily. "I'm the third child of building a country," Zheng Shan said. Zheng Shan was somewhat familiar with this uncle and his impression, but he forgot what it was called. Hearing what Zheng Shan said, the uncle sat up all of a sudden. The third child of Jiangguo? Wasn't he taken abroad by his second uncle? The uncle looked at Zheng Shan hard, as if he wanted to see that he was lying. When Zheng Shan saw that the uncle was interested, he happened to clear up his mood, so he sat on the side and handed a cigarette over. "Yes, isn't this going home, sir, you smoke?" Zheng Shan said with a smile. The uncle took the cigarette and looked at it carefully. In the end, he didn't want to smoke it. "I still have a handle. It really is a good cigarette." After he finished speaking, he looked at Zheng Shan, "Don't say it, I still think of it after you said that. It really looks like the third child of building a country. Why did you come back? Zheng Shandao, why don't you come back and have a look? After so many years, I feel homesick. It's good to be back, you don't know how much your mother misses you. Every time I mention your tears, my tears flow. Hey, I didn't dare to mention your name while chatting with your mother," the uncle said with emotion. After speaking, the uncle also urged, "Okay, don't squat with me, and go back quickly. If your mother knew that you were back, she didn't know how happy she would be." Zheng Shan nodded, and Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com immediately left the cigarettes just unpacked. "Then I'll go back first, and we'll talk when I have time." Soon Zheng Shan walked into a yard. There were many women busy in the yard at this time. Some were doing laundry, some cleaning up the house, some drying the quilts, and some cleaning up the pots and pans for lunch. A breath of life immediately came to my face. I don't know why, Zheng Shan was more comfortable in such an environment than in the luxuriously decorated but unmanned villa. "Young man, who are you looking for?" someone asked again. Zheng Shan's attire is still too conspicuous here. The people here are all factory workers, and there are basically no cotters, all of them are grassroots employees. "Aunt Li, I'm Zheng Shan, the third child of Zheng Jian's country." Zheng Shan greeted with a smile. The third child of building a country. Hearing him say that, everyone immediately put down their work and looked at them subconsciously. They all lived in the same compound. After so many years, Zheng Shan was 13 years old when he left home, so he basically had some impressions of him. Of course, except for some newly married daughters-in-law. "Oh, it's true, I haven't seen you for so many years, you have become so auntie that you don't even know each other," Auntie Li said excitedly. It's not that he was excited to see Zheng Shan, it was purely because he hadn't seen it for many years, it was just a sudden sight. "Huixiu, Huixiu, look who's back!" Aunt Li began to shout to the inner courtyard. Zheng Shan's mother's name is Zhong Huixiu. Zheng Shan looked over there a little nervously, and greeted everyone. Most of them are familiar people. If you are familiar with them a little, you can call them by name. And some big girls and little daughters-in-law are also a little curious about Zheng Shan. Dashan, why are you back? Aunt Li asked curiously after shouting twice. Zheng Shan said, I don't want to go home, so I came back. You are also cruel, and you haven't come home to see your mother for so many years. Aunt Li said. Zheng Shandao, I also want to come back, but you also know the situation. Also, why are you talking about this? It's a good thing for Dashan to come back. You don't know what happened a few years ago. Someone on the side helped. While they were chatting, a middle-aged woman came out, wiping her hands on her apron while walking, apparently putting down her work in a hurry. Aunt Li, who is so anxious? Zhong Huixiu said as she walked. Haha, look who it is. Aunt Li said with a smile. Actually, she didn't need to say it. Zhong Huixiu was stunned when she saw Zheng Shan, and tears soon accumulated in her eyes. Mother and son are connected. When she saw Zheng Shan's first glance, Zhong Huixiu knew that this was the third child of her family. Son, is that you? Zhong Huixiu's lips trembled. Seeing his mother like this, the anxiety in Zheng Shan's heart disappeared immediately. Thinking about his previous life, Zheng Shan actually came back. In addition to being unaccustomed to life, he actually wanted to have a complete family and to experience a family with both parents. Zheng Shan immediately rushed forward and hugged his mother. Mom, it's me, it's Xiao Shan. Zheng Shan didn't know when his tears flowed, maybe it was his predecessor's instinct. My son, my son. Zhong Huixiu could only say these two words at this time, and her tears continued to flow down. The people next to him watched and quickly came over to persuade him. Huixiu, stop crying, isn't it a good thing for Dashan to come back? Why are you crying? Yes, this is a good thing. You can see that Dashan is like this now. He must not suffer hard outside. You can rest assured. Okay, don't cry anymore, hurry up and let your boss come back. Under everyone's persuasion, Zhong Huixiu finally stopped crying, but she still held Zheng Shan's hand tightly, fearing that he would disappear in the next moment. Mothers, sisters-in-law, brothers and sisters, I'll go back with my mother first, and I'll visit you later. Zheng Shan saw his mother like this, and couldn't let her cry all the time, so he said quickly. Go back quickly. Everyone urged. After Zheng Shan's mother and son left, the discussion about Zheng Shan became more lively. After all, everyone knows that Zheng Shan went to the United States, and now he came back suddenly, which is still very new to them. It didn't take long for the whole Hutong and alley to be rumored about Zheng Shan. No way, the news of this era is already a bit blocked, and finally there is such a thing that can be entertained, so why don't you discuss it vigorously? On the other hand, Zheng Shan also returned to their home with his mother. The 3 rooms in their home were already big at the time. But as their children were born one after another, they seemed young. But Zheng Shan was much better before he came back. There were 3 rooms. The eldest brother got married and lived in one room, and the second sister got married and moved out. The 4th and 5th live in one room, although there are differences between men and women, but a curtain in the middle is already considered very good. In some families, 5 or 6 people live in one room. Soon a woman in her 20s came over, looking at Zheng Shan and Zhong Huixiu with some curiosity. Mom, who are you? The woman said. Only then did Zhong Huixiu remember to introduce, this is the 3rd child of our family, Xiao Shan, and this is your sister-in-law, Lin Maihua. Zheng Shan said hurriedly, hello, sister-in-law. When Lin Maihua heard her mother-in-law's introduction, she was stunned for a moment, then quickly said hello, hello. However, Lin Maihua's eyes soon showed a hint of vigilance, but when she saw what Zheng Shan was wearing, the vigilance dissipated a little. It's not because of anything else, it's just because their family can no longer live in other people, and life has always been tight. Zhong Huixiu didn't care so much. Now her heart is all on her son. Regardless of the unfinished work, he took his son by the hand and entered the house, starting to care about his son. As for the daughter-in-law, she had long since forgotten about it. Xiao Shan, I've suffered for you all these years. As she said that, tears were coming out of Zhong Huixiu's eyes again. In those days, the reason why Zheng Shan was sent away was due to difficulties. After all, at that time, in the eyes of these people, sending Zheng Shan away, and it was still so far away from the United States, basically meant that they would never see each other for a lifetime. It is very difficult to want to come back once. But at that time, their family was about to die, and only their father, Zheng Jiangguo, had a formal job. And there are 7 people in their family, 2 parents, plus 5 children, especially the 4th one. I don't know what's going on, but thieves can eat it. The eldest, Zheng Weihun, was already 15 years old at the time, and he would soon be a strong worker, ready to work. The second sister Zheng Lan and the eldest brother are twins, and they are 15. They will soon be married, and they are still a girl. The 4th child was only 8 years old at the time, and since he was a child, his brain was not very bright. If he went out, in the eyes of his parents, Yuyuganshu www.yuyuganshu.com would not only be bullied for his life. There are still people at home who take care of them and help take care of them. As for the 5th, one is a girl, and the other is that she was only 5 years old at the time, and the family was even more reluctant. So after all the calculations, there is only Zheng Shan, the 3rd child. Going out for one can also relieve a lot of burdens at home. Although it is cruel, it is the reality. So in the hearts of Zheng's father and mother, they owe the 3rd child, Zheng Shan. Mom, don't cry, I didn't suffer, really, the 2nd grandpa is a rich man over there, a rich man, what kind of hardship can I endure, and now I am also a rich man. Zheng Shan said quickly. Hearing his comforting words, Zhong Huixiu had more tears in her eyes. In her opinion, her son was comforting her. As for what kind of rich people? How much money is a rich person? No matter how rich you are, you can't afford to spend it in the United States, where you have to spend a lot of money every day. Seeing that the explanation couldn't make sense, Zheng Shan could only say, Mom, don't cry, I won't leave this time when I come back. Sure enough, Zhong Huixiu became excited when she heard Zheng Shan's words. Really? Did you say you won't leave? Just stay at home. Yes, I won't leave. The 2nd grandfather has passed away. He walked very peacefully. I have nothing to worry about over there, so I won't leave when I come back this time. Zheng Shan explained. Ah, your 2nd grandfather is gone. Zhong Huixiu was first taken aback. At that time, Zheng Shan didn't notify the family members about this matter. Even the notification was useless. If the 2nd grandfather didn't come back, they wouldn't be able to go out. So it's better not to notify. Lin Maihua just came over to say hello to Zheng Shan, and then she was busy outside. There were a lot of things to do inside and outside the house. Zheng Jiangguo and Zheng Weihun came back from work together. The get-off work of the eldest brother Zheng Weihun was only done by his father. It can be said that the relationship after working for so many years is used in Zheng Weihun's work. On the way, the two of them didn't have much to talk about. Basically, they just talked about things in the factory. But when they arrived at the Hutong entrance, they heard that their 3rd child, Zheng Shan, had returned. Basically, when you meet someone you know, you just tell them that. For a while, the two of them were also excited, and they all quickened their pace. When they got home, the 2nd sister and the 2nd brother-in-law also came with their 2 children. At this time, the house was full of excitement. The 4th and 5th, the elder brother's son Zheng Mingming, and the 2nd sister's family, there are more than a dozen people in total. The 4th and the 5th were a little unfamiliar with Zheng Shan at first, but they soon became familiar with him. After all, they were not completely strangers. Especially the fourth eldest Zheng Kui, he has always been very obedient to Zheng Shan. Back then, Zheng Shan helped him to cause trouble at school. After all, the boss was already old at the time, and he was relatively honest, so only Zheng Shan could come forward. The biggest reason why the fourth child was bullied was because his parents did not allow him to fight back. The fourth child can eat very well, and at the same time has great strength. A little bit of carelessness can break people's hands. This still happened when the 4th or 7th year old. From then on, the people in the family would not allow the fourth to fight back. There is no way, the poor words make trouble. The fifth elder, Zheng Mingziu, was bought by Zheng Shan's gift. The little girl got the clothes that Zheng Shan gave her, and immediately had a good impression of this somewhat unfamiliar third brother. This year, it is very rare to have a new piece of clothing, especially such a good piece of clothing. However, if the little girl wants to put on her body, it is estimated that she will have to wait for a while. After the family arrived, there was a lively scene, and some neighbors would bring some prepared meals. Although it is not a good meal or dish, it is rare at this time. Of course, the ones that played a major role were probably the gifts that Zheng Shan brought back. Although it wasn't for them, it also proved that Zheng Shan didn't seem to be doing a bad job. The family chatted and talked happily, but when they heard that Zheng Shan was not going to leave and stayed at home, there were different expressions in the field. There is no doubt that his parents are very happy, and Zheng Weihun is also most happy. After all, Zheng Shan is his younger brother. There is no need to say more about the fourth and fifth. Sister-in-law frowned slightly, but didn't say much, but it was obvious that she had some thoughts in her heart. It's just that my sister-in-law also knows what's wrong, so she didn't show it at this time. The second brother-in-law, Wen Ji, was very calm, but the meaning in his eyes was not very good. After Wen Ji and his second sister Zheng Lan got married, the second sister gave her a lot of subsidies to her parents' family. Fortunately, since the birth of the child, the situation has eased a bit. But still a little bit. In Wen Ji's opinion, Zheng Shan returned to China because he couldn't get along in the United States. In fact, this is what most people think. After all, in this day and age, the United States still has a very good impression in everyone's mind. Most people are reluctant to come back to live in the United States. Since Zheng Shan is back, he must not be able to get along well. Actually, I don't blame everyone, because the current concept is like this. Just as Zheng Shan and his mother explained, Zhong Huixiu just smiled and didn't believe it. It's good to be back. Zheng Jiangguo muttered. Wen Ji said, Dashan, it's really good to be back. After all, everyone in the family is here, so I can take care of it to some extent. Hey, it's also your second brother-in-law's fault. You don't get along well, so I can't help you. The meaning of this is very obvious, that is, if you are looking for a job in the future, don't look for him. Zheng Lan was startled when she heard the words, then she opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but she looked at the two girls who were snuggling by her side, and said nothing. The eldest sister-in-law said, Oh, second brother-in-law, what you said, you are more or less a leader now, unlike our family, who is still only a worker, and the monthly wages and work points are not enough for the family. Human flower. Hey, our days are just getting short. Zheng Jiangguo's face was a little ugly, but after looking at his family, he could only say in the end, Don't worry, Xiao Shan, I'll find a solution for work. Zheng Shan actually felt something about such a scene, although the words of the sister-in-law and the second brother-in-law were not very pleasant inside and out. But for them, there is actually nothing wrong. After all, at this time, everyone's life is not good. Dad, you don't need to worry about my affairs. I also know some friends, and I inherited my second grandfather's estate. I have a lot of money in my hands, so don't worry. Zheng Shan said with a smile. said as if remembering something, "Fourth, go and bring my suitcase." When the fourth son heard the words, he immediately ran to his house. All the things that Zheng Shan brought back have been put in the house of the fourth and fifth son. I brought back some gifts, just for everyone. Zheng Shan explained. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Before the fourth and fifth came back first, Zheng Shan gave them their gifts first. The fourth child is really strong, and it is very easy to carry a suitcase. Zheng Shan took out 2 pieces of clothes first. Mom and Dad, this is for your second old man. I'll try it later to see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, let the tailor make it. The clothes are very common fabrics, and they don't look very fashionable, but they are very suitable for the current Chinese clothes. Immediately there are watches and bracelets, which are also for parents. Zheng Jiangguo doesn't really feel anything about clothes, but he likes watches. Although the mouth is talking about spending money, but the subconscious love can't be hidden. For him, a watch, especially a watch that looks so good, is really a face. Zheng Shan did not say that the watch was worth tens of thousands of dollars, and the bracelet was also worth a lot of money. As for taking Zheng Shan out, there is nothing to worry about. After all, there are not many people who can recognize this watch in this era. Especially since Zheng Jiangguo's identity is here, as long as he doesn't recognize the watch, he won't think the watch is worth much at all. Seeing Zheng Shan's gift to his parents, sister-in-law and Wen Ji were also a little envious, but they were people who wanted to save face and didn't say much. It's just that I have some doubts in my heart. This Zheng Shan really came back after he couldn't get along in the United States? Originally wanted to deny it, but thinking about these things, it is estimated that it is not worth much in the United States, so he quickly shook his head again. Zheng Shan immediately gave the eldest brother and sister-in-law a radio, which surprised the eldest brother and sister-in-law. Radios are also a good thing in this era. And it's still American, and it's even better in their eyes. The second sister of the radio also has a copy. During the 2 years when the second sister was married, her parents would send letters, so Zheng Shan knew some things. After that, I sent fewer letters. There was no other reason than lack of money. Zheng Shan also sent some money back before, but due to some reasons, he also caused some trouble, and then his parents refused to send it back. Previously, Zheng Shan also knew some domestic situations, especially in the first few years of going abroad, so he obeyed his parents and did not send money home. Fortunately, Zheng Shan didn't have much money at that time. After all, he was still in school at that time. Otherwise, it would probably be more troublesome. Zheng Lan didn't expect her brother to bring her gifts, which made her a little unresponsive for a while. Some people say that a married girl spills water, which is very reasonable in this era. Second sister, Mom told me that you have been taking care of the family all these years, it's been hard work. Zheng Shan said. Zheng Lan's tears flowed down suddenly. The suffering she suffered over the years seemed to be nothing in front of these words, because her family knew. And her brother didn't treat her as an outsider. Second brother-in-law, for so many years, thanks to your help, I have nothing to express. You can accept this. Zheng Shan said to Wen Ji again. These are what he should do. If he just told Zheng Lan that he had worked hard and suffered, Wen Ji would definitely feel uncomfortable. Zheng Shan is nothing, but it must be the second sister who suffers in the end. Wen Ji's face really looked better when he heard this, and he also had a smile on his face. First, Zheng Shan spoke nicely and acted authentically, and second, what Zheng Shan gave was good. Just like my eldest brother's house, the radio is only one of them, and the rest are clothes, one for each person. There are even 2 small ones, but they are probably a bit big, but the older sister and the second brother-in-law are happy because they can wear them for a longer time. The style is not much, but it is definitely strong, which is what this era needs. Thank you, third uncle. Big girl Er Niu said timidly, the two little guys seemed a little afraid of life. Zheng Shan touched the heads of the two little guys, and then one of them had a doll, and immediately bought the hearts of the two little guys. As for the remaining toys, they are all cheap. Zheng Shan didn't know if the eldest and the second sister were reborn, so he brought some more. After distributing the gifts, it was time to eat, and the atmosphere at the dinner table suddenly improved, which was one of the reasons why Zheng Shan gave gifts before eating. The family ate and drank happily. Father Zheng Jiangguo obviously drank a lot, but he couldn't hold back his happiness, and his mother didn't stop him. Zheng Shan also accompanied his father to drink more. The next morning, Zheng Shan was awakened by the cry of the fifth child. Last night, the fifth child slept with his parents. To be precise, he made the floor and gave him the bed. Rubbing his head, when he walked out the door, he saw the fifth child crying, and the mother was teaching the fifth child a lesson. "Didn't you tell me? I won't let you wear it. When you wear it for the new year, you actually wear it secretly. You see, you've all stained it." The mother scolded the old fifth's new clothes with some distress. There is no doubt that children like new clothes. The mother won't let them wear them, so the fifth one will wear them quietly. Just as he was about to slip away, his mother found out. No, it was a fat beating. Zheng Shan hurried forward to stop the mother who wanted to beat the fifth. "Mom, let her wear it if she wants, it's not something valuable." When the old fifth saw that someone came to speak for him, he cried even louder. Zheng Shan didn't quarrel so much that his brain hurt. "The fifth one, don't cry, the third brother is in charge, and the clothes will be put on for you." When the fifth heard the words, he immediately wiped away his tears, and stopped crying for a moment. He just asked in a choked voice, "Third brother, do you mean what you say? Can your third brother lie to you? Take it and put it on. After a while, the third brother will make you unable to wear your new clothes." Zheng Shan said speechlessly. As for the words behind the third brother, the fifth brother seemed to have not heard him, took the clothes that Zheng Shan handed over with a smile, and happily went into the room to change clothes. "As for my mother," she said distressedly, "why do you want her to wear such nice clothes? It's not like she can't wear the old clothes anymore." Zheng Shan said with a smile, "Mom, isn't the clothes bought for you? Don't worry about it. My son is hungry. Would you go and make breakfast for my son?" In the end, she felt sorry for her son who just came back. Zhong Huixiu just muttered a prodigal son, and then went to cook. The morning meal was very rich, at least for this day and age, with pickles, steamed bread with white flour, and a scrambled egg. Sister-in-law's expression changed instantly when she saw the steamed buns and scrambled eggs, but then she looked at her son's new clothes and didn't say anything. But she had already made up her mind. If she continued to eat like this in the future, she would definitely cook separately. Who can afford such a meal? Although Zheng Weihun is married, he still eats meals together. After all, he lives together. And Zheng Weihun also needs to pay for food every month, and he pays a lot, basically half of it. But for this point, the old sister-in-law didn't say anything, just regarded it as honoring the old man. Besides, although it was a little more, it was still bearable. In addition, the elderly also help to take care of the children, and they also subsidize a little from time to time, so it is not a loss in general. Don't blame her for being so fussy, the reality is like this. But if you keep eating like this morning, my sister-in-law will definitely have an opinion. Their family can't afford such a meal. Especially when eating, my mother-in-law always sent white flour steamed buns to Lao San, and she also put scrambled eggs into Lao San's bowl. Zheng Shan enjoyed such a moment at first, but then he realized that the atmosphere was not right and he realized something. With a smile, he gave the three children the white flour steamed buns and eggs and let them eat. "Don't worry about them, you eat your own," Mom muttered. Such Chi Kuo's eccentricity only made the sister-in-law feel a little unbalanced. As for the fifth and fourth, she didn't feel anything at all. In fact, this is mainly because Zheng Shan has just returned, and his parents feel that they owe him a little. Relatively speaking, their family is considered a good one. Basically, there is no patriarchal preference. Of course, it is impossible to say that there is none at all. It's just very few. After dinner, the fourth and fifth and Zheng Ming went to school, while the father and elder brother went to work, and the lively home suddenly became quiet. Sister-in-law also went to work. Although she did not have a formal job, there were still many things at home, and from time to time, neighbors came to ask for help. No one will refuse to do a little bit of work. After all, everyone will encounter these small things. When their family encounters them, they will also ask their neighbors for help. When the eldest sister-in-law left, Zheng Shan was about to say something when he felt that something was quietly stuffed into his hand by his mother. Picking it up and looking at it, Zheng Shan was a little stunned. It was some money. "I'm going out, put some money in my hand," the mother whispered, and she looked outside subconsciously, as if she was afraid of being seen by my sister-in-law. Zheng Shan felt warm and speechless in his heart. He stuffed the money back. "Mom, didn't I tell you, I'm not short of money, your son has a lot of money." Zheng Shan also knew that his mother didn't believe it, so he simply took out some money from his pocket, which was all about unity, as well as some food stamps, meat stamps, and so on. These are not his own, but given by Lu Yi and others. After all, Zheng Shan at that time was still unfamiliar with China in this era. Zheng Shan didn't care how much they gave at that time, he just took it. These things were nothing to him at all. "Where did you get so much money and tickets? And there are industrial tickets." Zhong Huixiu was immediately frightened. In fact, the money is not much, and it is less than 500 yuan in total. But the $500 was a lot for their family. Zheng Shan saw that his mother was frightened like this, and immediately knew that he was correct in not explaining his situation in detail. "If my mother found out, I don't know what it would be like to worry about it. After all, it was not a good thing to be rich before. My mother was someone who really experienced that era firsthand. Mom, my friend, and I exchanged this. You don't know that I use US dollars in the United States, which are all foreign exchange. It's still very easy to exchange some of this money," Zheng Shan said in a relaxed manner. He didn't say that it was given by someone else, otherwise my mother would have been more worried. In my mother's mind, people will give so much money, there must be a bigger plan, and they want to take a bigger advantage. Hearing Zheng Shan's explanation, my mother finally felt relieved. "I'll keep it for you, don't mess with it, these are for you to find a daughter-in-law." Mom carefully put it away. But in the end, he gave Zheng Shan some money to put on his body, but this time Zheng Shan did not refuse. "By the way, Mom, didn't my sister-in-law say that my brother wants to buy a bicycle? Just give this bicycle ticket to my brother," Zheng Shan said. "During dinner last night, my sister-in-law mentioned this, intentionally or unintentionally. First, I wanted to stop the third child from thinking about borrowing their money, and second, I wanted to see if my father could get an industrial ticket. You must know that industrial tickets are hard to come by. Even if someone sells them, the price is very high. However, for Lu Yi and others who are engaged in foreign trade, there is no shortage of these things. As long as they can get foreign exchange, these things are the simplest things. It's yours, why give it to them like that?" Mom muttered. Well, although the time is very short, Zheng Shan can also see that his mother and sister-in-law are not dealing with the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, but this is also a very normal thing. As long as it doesn't fight, it's basically nothing. Zheng Shan put his arms around his mother's shoulders with a smile and said, "Mom, we are all in the same family, what's the difference between inside and outside?" "Humph, then what did she mean by those words last night? Is your elder brother in charge of their family?" "Humph. Apparently, The mother understood the meaning of what my sister-in-law said yesterday, and this was a quarrel for him, the old third. Zheng Shan doesn't care about this, Mom, think about it, when you give this bicycle ticket to my sister-in-law, she will definitely look at you with admiration, and she will take good care of you, so your face will be bright. These remarks finally persuaded my mother. At least Zhong Huixiu thought of this scene, and a smug smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. But, you want these tickets in the future. When you get married, the woman will ask for it. The mother said worriedly. Zheng Shandao, don't worry, I still have money, and it's all foreign exchange. It's very easy to get these tickets. Hearing what her son said, Zhong Huixiu finally felt relieved, but she still told Zheng Shan not to spend money indiscriminately, and not to take out foreign exchange at will. In the capital, even an ordinary housewife, Zhong Huixiu understands the benefits of foreign exchange. After talking with his mother for a while, Zheng Shan went out for a walk, but he was in the yard and the alley all morning and couldn't get out at all. As long as there are some people who are familiar with each other, they have to chat for a long time when they meet. Zheng Shan can't leave directly, he can only chat with others. Fortunately, Zheng Shan has nothing to do. Didn't he just like the atmosphere when he returned to China? So Zheng Shan also started chatting with people, and from time to time he also gave loose packs of cigarettes, which made him even more popular. No matter what everyone thinks in their hearts, they are always saying good things, saying that Zheng Shan is getting along well and so on. Zheng Shan also happily bragged with everyone, and by the way talked about things in the United States. It's not that he was showing off, but that people strongly demanded it. At this time, everyone is very curious about the United States. At noon, my mother came over and called to go home for dinner, and Zheng Shan went home happily. The fourth and fifth were also out of school, and they came back with their little nephew Zheng Mingming by the way. Seeing the new clothes of the fourth and fifth, the people outside were complimented again. Yu reading www.yuuganchu.com. The fourth child didn't feel anything, but the fifth child was so complacent that he almost cocked his tail. However, the little girl also cherishes her new clothes very much. Zheng Shan saw that the new clothes were not dirty at all. In this day and age, it is really difficult for children to wear clothes without getting dirty. From this, it can be seen how precious the fifth is to new clothes. When I brought the three little guys home, during dinner, there was an open and secret fight between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law again. The reason is that this lunch actually has meat. Sister-in-law got a little angry when she saw it. She had to know that half of their food was paid for by their family. Their family couldn't afford to eat it like this. Moreover, the mother-in-law tried her best to put meat into the bowl of the third child. Although most of them were given to the three children by the third child, Lin Maihua felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. Zheng Shan listened to the yin and yang conversation between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, and actually wanted to laugh, so he happily ate at the side without interrupting. My mother didn't take out the bicycle ticket either. It is estimated that she will have to wait until the evening to enjoy the majesty of being a mother-in-law. Zheng Shan also smiled secretly in his heart towards his mother's mentality, but it didn't show it at all on the surface. After lunch, Zheng Shan didn't dare to stay at home for much longer. He was afraid that the war would burn him, so he went out with his three children. The reason is to send three children to school. Although there are still 2 hours before class, it is enough to give a reason. The three children are very happy. After all, they have experienced the generosity of the third brother, third uncle. Sure enough, soon they were so happy that they couldn't find Bay. Thanks for watching, please subscribe. Each of the three little guys held a bottle of soda in their hands and drank it in small sips. It was reluctant to give them a drink at home before. Third brother, I still want to eat candy. The old five stared at the candy in the store. Zheng Mingming almost drooled when he heard the words. He could only eat 2 candies during the Chinese New Year. On the contrary, the fourth child, Zheng Kui, didn't feel much about it. Bye, boss. Zheng Shan was not stingy with his sister's little request. I took out money and tickets and bought some, and then decorated them for the three little guys. This made the three little guys so beautiful that they almost couldn't find Bei. Don't let mom find out, or you will be beaten by yourself. Zheng Shan urged. The little girl nodded nonchalantly when she heard the words. As long as she could eat candy, being beaten was a trivial matter. Third brother, you are so kind. The fifth one eats something good, and his mouth is sweet. Zheng Mingming looked at the fifth child. Uncle Third is really nice. Although Zheng Mingming is young, he understands one truth very well. It is not easy to suffer losses when he follows the fifth. Of course, the most important thing is that the fifth one will really beat him. At this point, even his mother can't protect him. As long as he finds a reason, the fifth one's beating is really nothing. This is why everyone now thinks that hitting a child is not a problem. After sending his younger siblings to school, Zheng Shan wandered around the capital. In this era of capital, when Zheng Shan really experienced it, he had a unique feeling. Especially Zheng Shan knows what earth-shaking changes will take place here in the next 40 years. Randomly get on a trolley bus, the fare is a dime. Looking at the receipt in his hand, Zheng Shan looked at it carefully for a while, and finally put it in the pocket of his jacket. At this time, Zheng Shan's clothes were also very ordinary, that is, a blue overalls top, canvas shoes, and grey-blue pants. It looks very ordinary. Looking everywhere in the car, 80% of the people I saw were wearing similar clothes, and the colors were also dark blue, mainly grey. Bicycles are the mainstream means of transportation. The 28th bar is more mainstream in the mainstream. I think that when Zheng Shan learned to bike in his previous life, he also used the 28th bar. At that time, my legs couldn't reach the ground at all, so I rode sideways and stretched my legs under the big carry. Although it was awkward, I didn't feel it at the time. Zheng Shan doesn't have any clear goals, he just wanders around and counts wherever he goes. Just when Zheng Shan was strolling around at will, Zheng Jiangguo seemed a little worried. Jiangguo, what's wrong with you? I heard that your third child is back? Why do you still look so sad? Asked a middle-aged worker next to him. Zheng Jiangguo sighed and said, of course I'm happy that the third child is back, but, hey, what should he do with this job? You also know the situation in our family. The fourth child is going to leave school soon, and he also needs to arrange work. Originally, there were some eyebrows, but now you say it's better for the fourth or the third. Zheng Jiangguo took out a homemade cigarette, took a sharp puff. As for the good cigarettes that Zheng Shan brought back, he was reluctant to smoke them, and he was even reluctant to take them out, because taking them out meant that the cigarettes had to be scattered. Indeed, but what is the situation of your third child? Someone asked next to him. Everyone has been working together for more than 10 or 20 years, and they can't be more familiar with each other. Everyone knows the situation very well. I don't know the specifics, but my second uncle passed away, and he couldn't stay in the United States any longer, so he just came back. And these old workers, Zheng Jiangguo has nothing to hide. It's really hard to find this job for the fourth child of your family. After all, he came back from a capitalist country. It is estimated that not many factories will want him. Hey, I'm also worried about this. Zheng Jiangguo sighed. Okay, I don't think you need to worry about it blindly. Your third child will be 20 this year, right? Find him a daughter-in-law and let him live by himself. You are already such an adult, and you are still worrying about that. When will it be your head? Someone advised. Zheng Jiangguo didn't say a word. This person obviously had nothing to do with himself. This is his own son, and he feels he owes a lot. How could he really ignore it? A co-worker next to him suddenly said, by the way, Lao Zheng, did your third child come back from the United States? Well, what's wrong? Then the third child of your family should have foreign exchange, right? As soon as these words came out, the eyes of many people on the side looked over. Forex. It is one of the most attractive terms in this era. Zhang Jiangguo's eyes suddenly became vigilant. What are you going to do? I'll tell you. Look, you're nervous. I mean, if your third child has foreign exchange, then you can go to the factory leader. As far as I know, Director Wang seems to be going abroad for an inspection after a while, and they have been exchanging foreign currency recently. If your third child can come up with foreign exchange, then things will be much easier. Zhang Jiangguo's eyes lit up, but he said, my third child doesn't have foreign exchange either. When other people saw him like this, they knew that the third child of his family really had foreign exchange. For a time, everyone looked at Zhang Jiangguo with envy. Zhang Shan doesn't care about this, he really hasn't thought about work, let alone actually going to work. At this time, he was in a good mood and was wandering around, and he was playing with relish. But when it was almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he rushed back immediately, and dinner was about to start. Zhang Shan was going to help with something, but Zhong Huixiu quickly pushed him out, not letting him do it. When the fifth came home, he carefully changed into new clothes, and then went to work honestly. The fifth is also very proficient in these tasks. Wash vegetables, choose vegetables, cut vegetables, and even stir-fry vegetables. The family is busy, and every now and then, neighbors come to chat, borrow things, and so on. His aunt, I will decorate your pickles. Okay, it's still in the old place, you can do it yourself. Uncle, are you busy? Well, how are you doing recently? I heard that your kid had a conversation with someone in the factory. When will you bring it over for us to take a look at? Damn, things that haven't been filmed yet, when it's confirmed, I'll definitely bring it over to show you, uncle. Dashan, are you used to coming back these 2 days? Aunt Li, you do it, get used to it, this is my home, I have lived for 13 years, what's not used to it? Zhang Shan made a stool and came over with a smile. Aunt Li nodded with satisfaction, it's good to get used to it. By the way, how old are you this year? Exactly 20. It's time to find someone, haven't you talked outside? Aunt Li asked with a smile. Zhang Shan didn't expect that Aunt Li came here to introduce him to someone. Of course, it wasn't so fast. She just came over to find out about him, and then arranged for a suitable person to be introduced to him. After all, although he grew up watching Zhang Shan has also been away from home for 7 years, especially in the United States during these 7 years. So what you need to know is what you need to know. Zhang Shan has no intention of resisting this. He is not in a hurry to find a partner, but he will not be embarrassed if he really finds a suitable one. You really are my auntie, and you worry about it for me as soon as I come back. Zhang Shan grinned and hugged Auntie Li's shoulder, shaking it vigorously. Go, go, no big or small. Aunt Li scolded and clapped Zhang Shan's hand down. Do you have something suitable? Zhang Shan said. Aunt Li said, Auntie, it's not that you are afraid of your high vision. After all, you have been abroad. Your mother asked me to inquire in the morning. I'm here to ask you what you mean. Zhang Shan said with a smile, I'll trouble you. My meaning is very simple. You are beautiful, smart, and virtuous. You can manage your family well. You can go to the hall and go to the kitchen. Your eyes are really high. Aunt Li didn't know what to say. Haha, Auntie, I'm going to joke with you, as long as we meet the right one. Zhang Shan said with a smile. Don't say, after Zhang Shan got into such a relationship, the relationship that was somewhat unfamiliar at first suddenly became familiar again. Just chatting like this, when the meal was about to be ready, Aunt Li also prepared to leave. Zhong Huixiu politely said to stay for dinner, but Aunt Li politely refused. However, Zhong Huixiu didn't really let Auntie Li go home empty-handed, but brought out some candy, which she brought specially this time. Originally it was eaten by a few children later, but Zhong Huixiu hid it wherever she was willing. This is also the reason why the fifth man wanted to eat candy at noon. This is a major event related to his son's marriage, and Zhong Huixiu will take it out even if she is reluctant. After seeing off Aunt Li, the family started to eat. Third brother, it would be great if you came back earlier. The fifth's mouth was full, but it didn't delay her speaking at all. What's the matter? I miss your third brother so much. Zhang Shan said with some relief. This sister didn't feel pain in vain. No, if you came back earlier, I could eat more meat earlier. Fifth said seriously. Isn't that right, even though Zhang Shan has only been back for more than a day? Today is a complete day, but the 4 meals I ate at home included meat dishes in every meal. Eggs are also considered meat dishes in this era. Tonight, there is still meat, which makes my sister-in-law feel a little distressed again, but the 4th and 5th and Zheng Mingming are very happy. Not only are the children happy to eat, but the adults are also happy. Even in the city, it is difficult to eat meat. What's more, the Zheng family's economic situation has not been very good. Mom, where did our family get so many meat tickets? Sister-in-law took the opportunity to ask. In fact, she also had a plan, that is, if her mother-in-law said she took the money to exchange it, she would immediately take the opportunity to propose to eat separately. Their family can't afford this kind of food. Zhang Jiangguo also looked at his daughter-in-law. He also knew the situation of his own family. Every time he issued a meat ticket, he basically exchanged it with other people for food tickets. In the past, it was normal for their family to not be able to eat meat for a few years, so the boss was working. The situation was a little better. Every year during the new year, I could smell some meat. Zhang Jiangguo borrowed the meat ticket last night from a neighbor's house temporarily. I didn't expect that there would be meat today. Isn't this mother-in-law planning to live? Zhong Huixiu looked at her sister-in-law's expression. She didn't know what she meant. In fact, she also felt distressed, but her son said that he wanted to eat meat, and the tickets and money were all given by his son. No matter how distressed it is, I have to buy it. Zhong Huixiu snorted coldly and said, the third one bought these, not with your money. If you don't want to eat together, you can separate them, just to save some meat. This was completely out of anger, and everyone pretended they didn't hear it. Although Lin Maihua was unhappy, she didn't care when she heard that it wasn't their money. This is meat. If you don't eat it, you won't eat it for free. It's not just spending your own money and tickets. Seeing that her eldest daughter-in-law didn't dare to say more, Zhong Huixiu had a beauty in her heart, and just wanted Chen Sheng to pursue her. After all, there are not many opportunities like this. However, someone didn't give her this chance. Although the eldest brother was a little dull, his eyes were still there. Especially since the family has lived for so many years, in order to maintain the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, Zhang Weihun also has some experience. When I saw my mother like this, I immediately understood that we couldn't let the topic continue at this time. After all, his wife's temper was not very good. If he really got into trouble and quarreled, it would be him who would be uncomfortable in the middle. So Zhang Weihun hurriedly interrupted, the third child? Where did you get so many meat tickets, the third child? Didn't you just come back? Zhong Huixiu was interrupted by her eldest son, so she glared angrily at the eldest son. However, this topic happened to ask her itch, so there was no need for Zhang Shan to speak out. Humph, what do you know? Your brother earned a US knife abroad before, and it was foreign exchange. It's not an easy thing to exchange for some of these. The mother said bragging, as if her son had much the same. Yu reading www.yuuganshu.com. Although Zhang Shan's ability is indeed not small, these mothers don't know it after all. As soon as these words came out, Zhang Jiangguo looked at Zhang Shan subconsciously. He originally wanted to ask about foreign exchange, but now he doesn't seem to need to ask. The third one exchanged not only the meat ticket, but also this. She took out the bicycle ticket as she spoke. She had been holding back for a day for this scene. Sure enough, seeing this bicycle ticket, sister-in-law's eyes suddenly lit up. Their family wanted to buy a bicycle for a day or two, but they just couldn't get a bicycle ticket. Of course, even if there was a way to get it, she would be reluctant, it was too expensive. Now there is a bicycle ticket placed in front of her, do you think she can't be excited? Lin Maihua immediately kicked her husband and motioned him to speak. Zhang Weihun also knew what his wife meant, but he couldn't open his mouth. Although he really wanted a bicycle, it was not only convenient for commuting to get off work, but more importantly, it had a face. He is only 22 this year, so people of this age still need face. But this bicycle ticket was taken by the third child, and the third child did not have a bicycle. If he asked for it, how would he face the third child? Seeing her husband pretending to be dead, Lin Maihua knew that he was unreliable. But she didn't want a bicycle for a day or two. Although she felt sorry for Zhang Shan to do so, she still spoke up. Cough, that third, your eldest brother has always wanted to buy a bicycle, do you think you can give this ticket to your eldest brother? After that, he added quickly, of course, we also pay for this ticket, no let you give it for free. It is said that it is bought with money, but it is also the normal price, and at the normal price, it is impossible to buy a bicycle ticket at all. When Zhong Huixiu heard what she was about to say, she heard Zhang Shan say to Lin Maihua, sister-in-law, I have given all these tickets to my mother. But I don't want a bicycle, and I'm not going to buy one. When Zhong Huixiu heard what her son said, she immediately nodded with satisfaction, she was indeed her good son. Lin Maihua was not unhappy when she heard the words. In fact, what Zhang Shan said is also very obvious, that is, he does not want this bicycle ticket. He didn't want it himself, so in the whole family, only Zhang Jiangguo and Zhang Weihun wanted it. Zhang Jiangguo, as a father, would definitely not this from his son, so he still had to give it to Zhang Weihun in the end. But of course, she, being a daughter-in-law, wants to give her mother-in-law some face, and even needs to be humble. But this is nothing to Lin Maihua. If she can get a free bicycle ticket to her mother-in-law in a low voice, she will speak softly to her mother-in-law every day. The fourth and the fifth have absolutely no feelings for these, they just know how to eat. Especially the fifth one, he asked Zhang Shan eagerly, third brother, when are you going to get me a bicycle? Good guy, it's a bicycle right away. But it's actually quite normal. The little girl is only 12 years old this year, so she doesn't know much about these things. In addition, although Zhang Shan had only returned in less than 2 days, in the little girl's heart, the third brother is omnipotent. Zhong Huixiu just said it casually when the fifth child was a child. Who knew that Zhang Shan actually responded, okay, as long as you can take the double 100 test this time, the third brother will make the decision and buy you a bicycle, and it's a women's model. The little girl didn't have the slightest suspicion, and immediately said excitedly, third brother, I will definitely take the double 100 exam. For this, no one in the family believed it, they were all just pretending that Zhang Shan was teasing the fifth one. The fourth brother saw that his younger sister had all, so he also looked at the third brother eagerly. Looking at the fourth child, Zhang Shan also had a headache, cough, fourth, as long as you pass both courses, the third brother will buy it for you. No way, the fourth grade. Zhang Shan is embarrassed to mention it. The fourth brother stopped talking when he heard the words. He could see that the third brother didn't want to buy it for himself at all. Pass? It would be good if he could pass the 2 courses combined. Although the fourth child is not smart, it does not mean that he is stupid. He is smart. Of course, this is the fourth's own idea. It's like his parents didn't allow him to fight. He really didn't dare to fight before, but he soon discovered that as long as he didn't beat people too badly, nothing would happen. So now in the whole school, no one dares to bully him. Every time Zheng Kui secretly beat those who bullied him, unless those students sue their parents and teachers, or the parents and teachers don't even know. And as long as it's not serious, students won't find teachers and parents, which is too embarrassing for students like them. So the fourth child thinks that he is very smart, but he just doesn't like to study. When Zheng Shan said this, everyone believed that this was what Zheng Shan was playing with the two children. At the dinner table, sister-in-law Lin Maihua had already started to attack her mother-in-law, picking up some good words. It is estimated that this is the second time that Zhong Huixiu has enjoyed such treatment, and the first time was when the sister-in-law entered the door. You can also give it to you, but you have to remember it. This is given to you by the third child. You have to remember the third child. Mom didn't really hold on to it. In fact, in the final analysis, Zhong Huixiu still loves her son, whether it is the eldest son or the third son, it is the same. It's just because Zheng Shan's previous situation made his mother feel more distressed. After the meal, my sister-in-law actively went to wash the dishes, but my mother didn't move, so I let my sister-in-law do it alone, and my sister-in-law didn't have any objection this time. To get a bicycle ticket for nothing, just wash the pot and the dishes, it's too simple. Xiao Shan, do you still have foreign exchange? Zheng Jiangguo finally asked. Zheng Shan said, yes, Dad, I'll give you how much you need. Hearing Zheng Shan's exhilarating words, Zheng Jiangguo was a little stunned. Did he speak so loudly? How much do you have? Zheng Jiangguo couldn't help asking. Zheng Shan said with a smile, you have as many as you want. You should also have a door on your mouth, you can talk nonsense. Mom said angrily. Immediately, he asked his father, why are you asking this? Why do you need foreign exchange? Let me tell you, these are all hard-earned savings by the third child. Don't make up your mind, let alone let the old man for your so-called face. 3 losses. Zheng Jiangguo said helplessly, that's not what I meant, I was thinking about the work of the third child. Isn't this asking for help? Recently, the leader of our factory is going abroad and wants foreign exchange. I don't want to see if there is any on the third child's side. I will take it and exchange it for the leader so that I can help the third child arrange work. When my mother heard that it was about work, she immediately became concerned. Zheng Shan said quickly, Mom and Dad, you really don't need to arrange work for me. I'll make arrangements when I come back. You two can rest assured. What nonsense are you talking about? If you don't have a job, who would want to marry you? You have some money now, but no amount of money can't sit idle. Mom was dissatisfied. Mom, I really don't need to. I do have arrangements, so you can rest assured, and I'm not expected to go to work. If you let me go to work like Dad and the others every day, I really can't stand it. Zheng Shan explained. Road. He didn't want to really go to work. He came back to enjoy life, not to go to work bitterly. Taking those 30 or 40 yuan every month, it's like getting tired every day, it's really not what he wants. Seeing Zheng Shan's resolute attitude, Mom and Dad looked at each other and didn't say anything. After all, Zheng Shan just came back, so there are some things that really shouldn't be forced too much. But now I still have some money at home, plus what Zheng Shan has given me, it can always last for a while. And when the fourth child goes to work, it will be easier at home. Well, in this short period of time, my parents have already planned to raise Zheng Shan for a while. Dad, this is $500. Don't your leaders want it? You can exchange it with him and let him promote you. Zheng Shan returned to the room and took out $500. Looking at the $500, everyone in the house was silent for a while, and their breathing became much heavier. $500, according to the current normal exchange price, is $1 to 1.56 RMB. But whoever will follow the market price, now on the black market, can exchange 1 to 10. And now Zheng Shan directly took out $500, how much does that represent? Anyway, their family doesn't have that much money together. Hurry up and put it away, why did you take out so much all of a sudden? Mom came back to her senses and urged immediately. At the same time, he looked around, as if he was afraid that others would see him.